Good evening. I'm Nisa Petrilli.
I'm Jay Kaplan.
I'm Anthony Strait.
And I am Sean Roman.
And this is On the Sports Lines for June 11th, 2015. When the calendar flips to June, our thoughts turn to the pursuit of championships. The Cavaliers and the Warriors are pursuing an NBA title, the U.S. women are pursuing a World Cup title, and American Pharoah has already captured horse racing's ultimate title, the Triple Crown. All that and much, much more. As always, we want to hear from you, so email us at fanspeak@onthesportslines.com, send your tweets to @onthesportslines, and your posts to facebook.com/onthesportslines. We just may read them on the show.
I'm back, Sean. We'll be reading them.
In the matchup of the NBA's best player versus the NBA's MVP, LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers lead Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors 2-1. Game 4 is underway as we speak. The guys are going to take a look at keys for each team going forward in the series. Let's start with the Warriors. Anthony, what will be the key to them winning the series?
The key to them getting back in this series is definitely got to be crashing the boards. They have got to do a better job of cleaning up the rebound, getting the rebounding edge. And now here's the thing. In Game 1, they had a slight rebounding edge, but this is after they fell behind by double figures. Same day with Game 2, same day with Game 3. This is the sixth best rebounding team in the league. They average 44 rebounds a game. But someone other than Draymond Green and Andrew Bogut have to do a better job of rebounding. Early on in the games, you see too many times Timothy Mozgov and Tristan Thompson kind of playing volleyball and knocking the ball back to one of the guards in the perimeter or grabbing the offensive rebounds themselves. Now, early on, and I've noticed this too, Golden State is lacking a lot of urgency. They're just lacking energy. They're falling behind these double digits. And when you're a jump shooting team, it's important for everyone to crash the boards. You don't have the luxury of having your forwards just stay under the rim, because when you're taking long jump shots, what you're getting?
Rebounds
long bounce counts, rebounds. And Golden State, they want to play up-tempo. They have to push the tempo to combat Cleveland, kind of bogging things down and slowing it down. But you can't do that if you are playing great defense and you can't finish it off by
securing the defensive
rebound. Now in Game 3, David Lee came in. He was kind of a game changer because he's also a playmaker too. He's a great passer. He can score. Excellent foul shooter. But he's a hustle guy, a rebounder, an energy guy. And you wonder if they're going to give him more minutes.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
You're going to touch on that, I know that. But here's the thing, though. The obscure number is in Game 1 and 3, they had the slight rebounding edge, 48-45. In Game 3, they had 18 offensive rebounds, but most of those came after they fell behind by 20. If they got to get out to better starts. That's just pretty much long story short. And it starts with rebounding. You make the stop. Cleveland only shot 32% in Game 2, but they had so many extra possessions, it didn't really matter.
No. But here's the thing. For me, the key for the Warriors is you got to build on all of the good things that happened in that fourth quarter in Game 3. Okay, what you saw there was the Warriors finally playing their style of basketball. Steph Curry was more MVP than MIA, dropping 17 on 6 of 9 from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3 after hitting just 4 of 20 in the before that. Here's the thing. Finished with 27 points after being held just 3 through the first 29 minutes. Part of that was the lineup that the Warriors had on the floor. You had Curry and Leandro Barbosa in the backcourt with David Lee, Klay Thompson, and Andre Iguodala up front. That group shot 7 of 11 from the floor in the 6 minutes they played together. They did not play a single minute together as a unit in the first 2 games. Now, that's a lineup while it's small because Lee's your 5 with that lineup. And it's not the best defensively because we know David Lee's a liability. But Steve Kerr needs to run that unit out there more. Lee scored 11 points on 4-4 in just 13 minutes. Golden State was plus 17 with him on the floor, minus 22 without him. The extra ball handling that you get from Barbosa and Iguodala gives the Warriors the ability to spread the floor more, call more plays for Curry that have him running off multiple screens a la Reggie Miller from back in the Pacer days. Now, what that does is it provides him with catch and shoot opportunities. And Lee, far and away a better offensive player than Festus Ezeli. And Thompson, you got 5 guys who can move the ball, who can score. Golden State ran more pick and rolls with Lee on the floor. They averaged over 1.5 points per possession when he was setting the ball screen, as opposed to under 8.85 when others were setting it. That lineup has to be run out there more, and I think that's where you got to start.
Well, I think now we have a battle of who is the real MVP of the league. Is it LeBron James and Stephen Curry?
Yep.
And right now, it's very close. The momentum's been shifting, which has been beautiful. Everybody was on the Stephen Curry bandwagon after Game 1, but now they're on LeBron.
Yep.
I don't think that Stephen Curry has fully recovered from his hard fall in Game 4 to Houston when he hit the ground really hard. I think he's sort of like Manny Pacquiao, and he was injured going into his big moment, but he did his best in that finals-type bout, and that's what Stephen Curry. And he's getting a lot of heat because right now he has 72 points overall, while LeBron James looks like the MVP of everything with 123 points. But still, 72 points out of 3 games. You're still 24 points a game.
Right,
that's effective enough. And after tonight's game, he could switch it even, and the analysis will be, oh, this is just a battle. It's definitely going to go down to Game 7. So will Stephen Curry prevail or LeBron? It remains to be seen. I don't think that either one is loser. They're both just giving their best, and there really is no loser at the end of the day if both do that.
We just want it all to go 7.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, turning to the Cavs, Jay, what'll be the key for them to win this series?
Who'd have thunk that Kyrie Irving going down was the best thing that could happen to the Cleveland Cavaliers? Here's what happens. It forced the Cavs to change from their style of offense from one that was more isocentric, because Kyrie Irving likes to dominate the ball and play 1-on-5, as one that spreads the floor, increased player movement, increased ball movement, more pick and rolls, which is how LeBron actually would prefer to play, especially since he's being guarded 1-on-1. Here's what blows my mind. LeBron had 279 touches through the first 3 games. Golden State doubled him only 15 times. Now, I know 92 touches and only 5 doubles in Game 3 alone. Now, I know Warriors coach Steve Kerr said he was not going to double. He was going to trust Draymond Green, he was going to trust Andre Iguodala, and others to guard LeBron 1-on-1. But here's the thing. When he was doubled, the Cavs only averaged 1.33 points per possession. LeBron was 2 of 8 for only 5 when he was doubled. Now, granted, it's a small sample size, but it's something Kerr should consider. The 1-on-1 defense has led to really good looks for the rest of LeBron's teammates. They are knocking down shots at a 49% clip on passes from him, as opposed to 30% clip on all other types of shots. Here's a fun stat for you guys, and I think Sean will appreciate this. You talk about the 2 MVPs going head-to-head. LeBron has missed more shots, 64, than Curry has actually taken, 63. LeBron is averaging 41 points a game. You guys know who the Cavs' second leading scorer is?
What's your guess of this one?
Take a quick guess.
J.R. Smith?
Mozgov at 13 points a game.
Wow.
Nisa, is this the time where I have to relay to the panel and our audience how bad Hendrik Lundqvist played against Tampa Bay and blew the series for the Rangers? What about that trickler he let in the 3rd period in Game 7? What was that, 11 goals over 2 games? I never got to talk about that with you, Jay.
You got 3 very disappointed Rangers fans.
Okay, so back to the NBA Finals. I mean, Iman Shumpert, he is amazing on defense. He's going to have to step up for them. He's been there as far as that role goes. And now J.R. Smith getting that chance to play in the finals, he's making the most of it. And that's what they're going to need for the duration. This is interesting because with Michael Jordan, he never had that uber-strong supporting cast that LeBron James has. This year, LeBron James gets to prove, I could do this with basically role players. That's the big point.
And here's the thing. With Dellavedova making such an impact now
defense,
in the starting lineup, it puts J.R. Smith back in the role that serves both him and the Cavs best as their 6th man. But if somebody else, if the Cavs are going to need somebody else at some point to win a game for them in this series, J.R. Smith's the guy you want to keep an eye on because, as Anthony knows, if he gets hot, he can carry you.
Yeah,
he'll get 24,
if he
25
gets hot,
points.
that's a
He's gonna have
bad
one of those
shot.
games.
Anthony, real quick, what's your take?
My take is Yeah, but here's another question. Do you think Kevin Love is the best thing that going down is the best thing that happens to the Cavs?
Maybe.
Because Tristan Thompson has been an absolute stud.
He has been.
He averaged 8 rebounds, and in the playoffs, he's averaging 11.4. And early in the games, he has dominated Golden State's big and small lineup. What I would like to see him do is try to run a few more screen and rolls with him rather than Timothy Mozgov. He's a much better finisher around the basket. He's a magnet to the basketball, but also he draws a lot of fouls. He goes up very strong, gets to the paint. Also, when Golden State have that small lineup, back him and post him up. You want to get him on Draymond Green. You want to get him on Andrew Bogut. Bogut, he draws a lot. He gets into foul trouble quite a bit.
LeBron James is 2 games away from his 3rd NBA title and his 1st with Cleveland. Before the series even started, the questions of what winning or losing would do to or for his legacy were being bandied about. Jay, how will LeBron's legacy be impacted by this NBA Finals?
The minute I think he's in a no-lose scenario here, because the minute Kyrie Irving went down, the narrative of this finals changed with regards to LeBron. He no longer had the same pressure to win because he was no longer supposed to. After all, he was going against the best team and the league MVP. He came into the series without his new Chris Bosh. Kevin Love going down in the Hawks series, and then he loses his Dwayne Wade at the end of Game 1 when Irving gets hurt. He's reduced to playing with the likes of Tristan Thompson, his old pal James Jones, and yes, Matthew Dellavedova. Come on, who freaking knew? I think think of these guys as this generation's version of Michael and the Jordanaires from back in the day before Michael got any help. Here's the thing, if he loses, and it's not a foregone conclusion that the Warriors are done, the ridiculous numbers he puts up, if they stay ridiculous, he'll become the 2nd player in NBA history to get game MVP from a losing team. Jerry West was the first, and his legacy is secure. Improved even because he will have done everything possible, but again, he wasn't expected to win. Now, if he actually manages to win, his legacy is beyond secured because not even Jordan won a finals when he was A, the underdog, and B, had to be a complete one-man gang. And I think if that happens, even the he's no Jordan haters will have to tip their cap to the king.
What makes LeBron intriguing to me is the fact that unlike Michael Jordan, when LeBron gets to the finals, he can lose. Right now, he is 2-2 in finals. Bill Russell, 9 out of 11. Michael
11
Jordan,
out of 13.
11 out of 13. Michael Jordan, 6-0. LeBron, 2-2.
Yeah.
If he does not win this one, this could be a big mental block where getting that next one will be even more difficult. So it could have an impact on that aspect of his legacy if he doesn't win this one, psychologically.
Right. Can you believe next month would be the 5-year anniversary of the decision? Believe it or not? When he left Cleveland, he was the 22. He was a 25-year-old who had taken his team to the finals with virtually no help at 22. He leaves. He's the most vilified guy in all of America.
Yep.
You see Cleveland Cavaliers fans burning his jerseys.
Burning jerseys.
Dan Gilbert, do you remember that scathing letter that he wrote? But the LeBron James that came back last summer is not the one that left.
No.
He went to Miami. He has 2 championships, but he lost 2 NBA Finals too along the way. He came back, and it seemed like he has really much embraced the role of being the leader. He came back to a younger team, even with Kyrie Irving, even with Kevin Love. These are 2 guys, all-stars, but no playoff experience coming into this season. And a bunch of cast-offs. Look at J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, Timothy Mozgov. They were basically scrap heap before the playoffs. And when you look at Cleveland's long 51-year championship drought, and they had so many near misses. You had the Indians in '97, the Browns back-to-back losing to John Elway in heartbreaking fashion. If he brings a championship to Cleveland, it'll be the biggest celebration since the Indians in the movie Major League.
And enemy of fans will no longer be able to chant 1964.
Well, how about a feel-good sports story? American Pharoah blew away the field at Belmont Raceway on June 6th, finally ending horse racing's 37-year Triple Crown drought. Sean, you were at Belmont. What did you take away from witnessing history?
It was fun to be one of the 90,000 fans in attendance on an absolutely beautiful and comfortable day and waiting for that race where it's the only time in these horses' lifetimes that they're going to run that 1.5 mile distance and seeing if American Pharoah can win that most ultimate of tests. And then there was only one horse, the 6th horse, which was Frosted, to challenge him even a little bit down the stretch. But then American Pharoah pulled away. And I had a nice seat and I was watching in the stretch and I was like, here it is. And I was silent. And just to see all the arms in front of me and the roar of the crowd, and knowing that this was the first time in 37 years. So to appreciate the last Triple Crown winner, affirmed in 1978, let's say you had to be 10. That means you had to be 47 years old at this point right now to experience 2 Triple Crowns in your entire lifetime. That's a feat that not a lot of us have seen. So that was what's special about it. I think the horse is significant for that reason. And me and Pete Zacchia, who is our horse racing expert, were discussing it, and we both thought that this was it for the horse. It would just go on tours and then be put out to stud for an extraordinary fee. But Baffert is actually looking right now where he's going to race again, so you'll get to see American Pharoah one more time.
Pretty cool.
So I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I don't think that this accomplishment can be undervalued or underestimated because of its rarity.
What do you think, Jay?
Well, I am very happy for American Pharoah. I am finally glad this 37-year drought is over. He became the 12th horse to win the Triple Crown, but only the 8th to do so, favored in every leg of it. I don't think he's any Secretariat, who won the Triple Crown in 73, breaking a 25-year drought.
Right.
Blew away the field in all 3 legs, winning the Belmont by a still record 13 1/4 lengths.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Here's the thing. It is a great story, but not even a quadruped will give this story any legs beyond this year's Breeders' Cup. Yeah, sure, we'll talk about it next year when the 2016 Triple Crown races come around, but horse racing will still be a sport that only comes to the forefront between May and June.
That's interesting.
Well, I would say like this. When you have a thoroughbred who finally wins the Triple Crown, you have a cash cow. That's pretty much obvious. If you're a Matt Zayat, the owner, you are cashing in. Here's the sponsors.
He's already rich, Anthony.
What's
The rich get richer, Sean.
There you go.
Come on, having more money. But here's the sponsorships he already has. Monster Energy Drink. Wheels Up, that's a private airline membership. Triple Crown Productions, the people behind the Triple Crown races.
Let's talk about the Burger King guy behind Baffert.
I saw that.
That was kind of a song. That really
He
was.
also was in the Mayweather fight.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
He's everywhere.
He's making a comeback. Pretty much. But think about it like this. Triple Crown Productions is already licensed memorabilia and merchandising to All Pro Championships and Steiner Sports.
Wow.
You follow the Yankees, so you know Steiner Sports is very popular. And by the way, Zion, he sold the breeding rights for between 6 to 14 million. How about 30 million now that he's a Triple Crown winner?
He's countering your point that even though it's like a niche sport, I mean, on its own merits, it's still very valuable
And
in terms of
valuable, no
accomplishment.
doubt.
And because he's going to race a few more times, more money, more revenue.
Most of the FIFA-related talk of late has been about Sepp Blatter and the FBI's investigation into soccer's international governing body, and the guys will weigh in on that in a bit. There is an actual event going on.
Yep.
The 2015 Women's World Cup. The USA is one of the favorites and began their group of death play with a 3-1 win over Australia. Our look at this will be lightning round style. One analyst, one question, one answer. Anthony, you're up first. Which USA player will be under the biggest spotlight real quick?
Well, it has to be Hope Solo, the
I agree with that.
goalkeeper. I mean,
1000%.
you look at it, she is arguably the best goalkeeper in the world. She's a record holder with 83 career shutouts, second all-time in games played, wins 130. Remember the last FIFA World Cup that was held, she won the Golden Glove for best goalkeeper and bronze ball for basically the most outstanding player in the entire tournament, which the United States lost on penalty kicks. And that, on the opener on Monday, she made 2 very, very big saves
In the first
against
half,
Australia.
sure.
In the first 15 minutes alone.
Right.
Emily
Saved the game, no doubt about it.
Eggman on the first one, Samantha Coe on the second one. Her skill alone covered up for a lot of defensive
Mistakes.
miscues
Yep.
and mistakes that the United States team make, and particularly on the back end of that defense.
True. Well, Jay, tell me, who's the X factor for the USA?
When I was looking at this, I figured to me the X factor was whoever was going to step up to supply Team USA with offense while Alex Morgan was dealing with her nagging injuries and Abby Wambach dealt with no longer being a 90-minute scoring threat. The obvious choice is Carly Lloyd, who's the U.S.'s all-time leading scorer from the midfield, and Megan Rapinoe, who's probably their most dynamic winger, who scored 2 goals in the opener against Australia. But my choice,
strong off the
and
set
I'm going
pieces.
with Sydney Leroux, because she's the unknown. Okay?
That's an X factor.
She can put the ball in the net. 14 goals in 2012, 10 in 2013. She actually holds the U.S.'s all-time record for fewest minutes per goal. 82.2. I know it's a weird stat, Sean. That's better than both Wamba and Morgan, who are both up around 98 minutes for every goal that they score. She has some serious incentive. She's playing on her home turf in Canada, as she is Canadian-born. She'll also get playing time due to those aforementioned issues with Wamba and with Morgan. And she's shown some swagger when she scored a goal against Canada in a friendly in 2013. They ragged on her, and she responded by going like this, grabbing the crest on her U.S. jersey. So she's ready to make an impact. She's going to get the chance. I'm intrigued to see what she does with it.
All right, well, Sean, handicap the field for me. Which country is the biggest threat to the USA winning it all?
Well, if you follow the Women's World Cup and its history, it's been around since 1991. There have been 6 so far. It went from 12 to 16, and now they jumped to 24 teams. And eventually they'll reach 36. I love when there's an expansion of tournaments because it allows you to see teams participate around the world who wouldn't otherwise be there, like Thailand's in there this year. That's kind of fun.
True.
And you never see China in the Men's World Cup, really, but they're there in the Women's. And Germany has 2 World Cup wins, so they're obviously a threat. The United States has 2 themselves. And Japan has 1. I think a South American team might have the other one. So I think Japan beating the U.S. the last time poses the biggest threat because of their skilled passing and the way they possess the ball around the midfield. Germany is expected to meet the United States in the finals, and they are equally matched. So there will be a number of teams, including France and home Canada, who pose a threat. And a lot of people are looking at the player who's been regarded as the best women's player for the last half a decade at least, Marta, and her last chance to win for Brazil. So a lot of threats. Should be a competitive tournament. You know, if you had to place your money on one team, it would be a nerve-wracking experience because the U.S. aren't overwhelming favorites, but they are front-runners among other teams.
True. Well, we'll see what happens. Well, as we alluded to earlier, FIFA has been in the news of late for all the wrong reasons, as they have become the subject of an FBI investigation into corruption, bribery, and other illegal activity at the highest levels of the organization. Recently re-elected President Sepp Blatter has resigned, but will inexplicably stay in office until his replacement is found. Guys, what's your take on all this?
After he won an election.
Exactly. He's the president of everyone, don't you know?
I don't know. What do you think?
You know what? I feel like Oprah here. You get a corruption. You get a corruption. You get a corruption. Pedro gets a corruption. No. Like every day since Memorial Day, it just seems like something brand new with FIFA. You wake up, get your morning coffee, you find out 7 FIFA officials are arrested just before the start of the 65th FIFA Congress.
They're not arrested. Well, a lot of them are arrested.
Well, 14 was indicted.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And then 2 days later, Sepp Blatter inexplicably wins
Another election.
Only to resign a few days later.
Yep.
And then you hear Jack Warner potentially accepting a bribe that affected the 2010 FIFA World Cup that went to South Africa. And then on top of this, now this is in the past 24 hours, FIFA postponed their 2026 vote, bid. Then they've handed over more computer data to the Swiss Attorney General office.
Yep.
And by the way, the communications chief has resigned too. So pretty much, and by the way, they spent $25 million on a movie based on the organization that has grossed $607.
I think there's a lot of corruption, but is there more corruption than there is in selecting an Olympic venue? And if you look at the actual success of the events, is there a better sports event run by any organization in the entire world over the long run? There's not in terms of viewers. I mean, the World Cup, if you ever look at ratings, the Super Bowl's not even on the list when you compare it to the World Cup. ICC cricket is there, but just FIFA World Cup blows everybody away. So my problem is
global, you know?
A lot of these individuals who are indicted, the U.S. wants to get them here, and they're using laws that traditionally they used to bring terrorists to this country when these terrorists have nothing to do with actions in the United States. And that's bothersome because I think that we're taking the phrase policeman of the world to an extreme degree. All right, Chuck Blazer, if you know who he is, he has a big connection to the U.S. If he's involved with crimes that involve the United States, tax evasion,
over on everybody.
go after him. But you mentioned Jack Warner. Where's he from? He's from Trinidad and Tobago. If he's not doing anything with respect to the U.S., somebody who has a nexus with him and his jurisdiction. If they have a problem with anything he did criminally, go after him, but the U.S. should not be getting involved in these ancillary matters. Clean your own backyard first before you go after the rest of the world.
All right, Sean, I got to disagree with both you and Russian President Vladimir Putin. I think the U.S. has every right to stick their nose into this, what's going on in FIFA for all of these years. They're a full voting member, so they have as much stake in what's going on. And since all 209 members have an equal share, that's saying something.
Jay, can I ask you one question? I want you to answer it. Okay, but let's say Russia had the same interest and they went after Chuck Blazer, who's a U.S. citizen, and they tried to extradite him to Russia. How would you feel about that?
You know what? If he's a criminal, he's a criminal.
Send him to Siberia?
Let me keep going. And I think Anthony nailed it. This organization has been rife with corruption, fraud, and bribery, and just plain shady stuff for what seems like forever. And Blatter's constant, I had no idea any of this was going on, mantra rings beyond hollow. Now, I'm sorry, Sean, I think FIFA needs to be upended, turned inside out, and even blown up, especially in the wake of the bidding process that gave the 2022 Cup to Qatar of all countries? Come on. All right. To me, this was the last straw. Any illusion that FIFA was not an organization that had totally gone over to the dark side, for me, it went out the window. I have no problem with the Justice Department's 47-count indictment. I have no problem with the Swiss engaging in their own investigation, which
that's
is going to have
FIFA's headquarters. That's where it should lie.
I have no
agree
problem
with
with them doing that. As many investigations that shed light on what the hell's been going on over there. You got racketeering, wire fraud, money laundering. Get it out in the open. Here's the thing. I'm glad Blatter resigned, but he needs to go now and not hang around while FIFA drags its heels, finding his replacement, because Michael Rosenberg, as I said it best, if Putin's your character witness, it may be time to ask how to choose your drapes for your prison cell.
That music means it's time for the 3-minute warning. Sean, lead us off.
International football has become the lead story for the worst of reasons. But a few Sundays ago, my weekly soccer game in Queens brought me back to recognizing why the passion for this one activity is unparalleled. I play the game in Queens, in Cunningham Park, each week on Sunday with about 25 guys I never see at any other time, whose ages range half a century and their ethnic backgrounds are even more diverse. But driving down Union Turnpike under the gray sky, I prayed that the weather would hold. However, the light rain soon turned into a steady stream. Warming up, a separate game was going on, mostly made up of a Hispanic contingent in the adjacent field. The flow of our 22 neighbors playing an active game inspired us all not to go home. But after our first goal, thunder started to mesh with the thump of the ball. Counting the seconds between the thunder and lightning revealed that danger was much too close. At the exact point my friend Yura scored our third goal, an orange blast struck the tree line just to the north of the field. The point: there is simply no other sport where two sets of 20 would play side by side in such a storm. As the competition continued, I navigated along the field on the little elevations of grass that stood up from the puddles. The ball only moved when launched into the air. Goals were near impossible to score, but we shared a joy only football could give us. FIFA and even the governments pursuing criminal charges are each corrupted by the condition of humanity. But for an instant last Sunday, a small group of us in Queens grasped the ideal. This love for the game that countless people share, more so than any other sport, is what FIFA should be guided by in promoting the sport.
If you ask 90 to 95% of fans who is the greatest NBA player of all time, they would say it's Michael Jordan. Many of them would say that's because he went 6 for 6 in the finals. Yet even Jordan doesn't hold a candle to the great Bill Russell. Russell won 11 NBA titles and 13 seasons with the Boston Celtics, including 8 in a row from 1959 to 1966. His resume is just as impressive. 5-time MVP, 12-time All-Star, gold medalist, and a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Those who argue that there were few teams of Russell's era are too lazy to inform themselves that Russell combated something that even his illness did not. Russell played in a society where the worst crime you could commit was the one you had no control over, the color of your skin. A victim of racial bigotry, he kept fans and the media at arm's length and was often vilified for it. He took a social stance as an active member of the Black Power movement and made history as the first African-American head coach in any of the major sports. If you want to judge greatness based on YouTube highlights, they'd be my guest. If you ask me, the greatest ever played long before my time, and he's not reselling old sneakers for $200 a pop.
USA goalie Hope Solo has proven that she can handle anything that comes her way on the pitch. It's off the pitch where her ability to handle what comes her way is questionable. She'd already been suspended 30 days for an incident where she and her husband were both intoxicated and operating a Team USA bus when an incident from her past that she thought was behind her reared its ugly head. Back in June of 2014, police were called to the home of her sister, Teresa Aubert, where a physical altercation had occurred between Solo Aubert and Aubert's then 17-year-old son. Now, Solo and her sister have she said versions of the story, and the case was dismissed on procedural grounds, but a recent ESPN report has shed some new light on the incident, which may not be as over as Solo claimed it was on a Good Morning America interview in February. What is not in doubt is that Solo was intoxicated and belligerent and insulting to police after she was arrested on 2 counts of domestic violence. What is in doubt is USA Soccer's assertion that they spoke with people with knowledge of the incident and that Solo didn't need to be disciplined. ESPN's investigation uncovered no evidence that either Aubert, the police, or the prosecutors were ever contacted. The NFL made like an ostrich sticking its head in the sand with regards to domestic violence until a certain videotape made its way to TMZ, and US Soccer seems to be doing the exact same thing. The good news is that Team USA is well versed in handling Hope Solo being in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. The sad news is that they have to do it yet again.
The NBA admitted that the referees made a few bad calls at the end of Game 2 of the finals and has apologized for the mistakes. While I appreciate the mea culpa, here's a novel idea. Get it right the first time. These incorrect foul calls were in the last 2 minutes of the game and in key situations. One was a called foul that should never have been called. The other was a foul that should have been called and wasn't. Both calls were so obviously wrong that I don't understand how the supposed experts didn't see that. This is the NBA Finals. The refs need to pay attention and get it right. This is their job. It's what they do. And it's the biggest stage of the year. They need to turn their focus up a notch or 10 to ensure they make the right calls in these clutch moments of huge games. Both bad calls in Game 2 went in favor of the Warriors, but thankfully it didn't impact the outcome as the Cavs still managed to squeak by and win the game. But it could easily affect the outcome of the game the next time this happens. And I'd like to say I have more faith in the refs, but unfortunately, I have a feeling there will be a next time.
Yep.
For Jay Kaplan, Anthony Strait, and Sean Roman, I'm Nisa Petrilli. Thanks for spending part of your evening with us. We'll see you on June 25th for the NBA Draft edition of On the Sports Lines. Remember, if you want to see this show again or catch up on any of the ones you might have missed, check us out at youtube.com/onthesportslines and check out our blog at onthesportslines.blogspot.com. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.